To this point, we talked a little about how big forces can be, but how exactly do we measure forces so we can compare them a little better? Well, first of all, let's learn that forces are measured in newtons, which we show with a capital N. And this unit is named in honor of Sir Isaac Newton, a physicist and a true genius who has impacted an incredible amount of today's technology. Remember that the force of gravity, or weight, is a force, so you can measure the weight of anything in newtons. To get a feel for the size of a newton, a medium apple weighs about 1 newton. So a 2 newton force is twice as big as a 1 newton force. And of course, a 10 newton force is 10 times as big as our 1 newton force. Note that an old-fashioned way to measure your weight is in pounds, which we still hear from time to time. Therefore, to describe your weight to a scientist or someone who wants it in modern SI units, you would have to convert it to newtons. So, if weight is a force, and we can measure weight on a floor scale, then, well, we have one good way to measure a pushing force. You can easily use a floor scale to determine how much pushing force you can create. Another word for pushing force is compression. To compress means to squeeze or to push together. For pulling force, you can use a spring scale to measure the strength of a pulling force. Spring scales are common for measuring the weight of fish or bike parts. And another word for a pulling force is tension. To provide tension means to pull apart. So in this tutorial, we continued on learning about forces. We determined that the size of a force is most commonly measured in newtons. A newton is about the weight of a medium apple. And to measure pulling forces, or compression, we could use a floor scale. To measure pulling forces, or tension, we could use a spring scale.